Right now, I'm in the Army Reserves as a pilot. Yeah, flying airplanes around, taking generals where they need to go.
How did you get involved with the military?
So I was actually grew up an Army brat. My dad was a 160th pilot, special operations pilot. So we lived at Fort Campbell my whole life. I was supposed to go to UT Knoxville and just go to college. I really didn't have a plan.
When was your first deployment? Like, take us to that place.
I deployed to Iraq. So when we got over there, we went down to, we were supposed to go to Balad, which is outside of Baghdad. And then they had split Iraq up into sectors. You had Iraq North, Center, and South. And then they changed us last minute. We went down to Basra down in the south, which is, 10 miles from the Iran border and like 30 miles from Kuwait. So we were responsible from there all the way up to south of Baghdad. But the Iraqis ended up, we helped them get their election stuff done.
Yeah.
I got back from Iraq in 2010. We were supposed to go to Afghanistan in 2014 with my Apache unit. And we got off-ramped on that one. So I left the full-time job and went to fly EMS. I was responsible for like Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia. It was one of the highest paying rotary wing pilot jobs, helicopter pilot jobs in the world.
Oh, hey, everybody. Welcome to Living on Incline. Today, I got my buddy here, John Harless. First of all, thank you for your service, John.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate it. And I've been just sitting thinking, like, what are we going to talk about? Because there's so much I want to talk to you about. So much I want to spend our time with mental health, what you did in the military, that crossover, recovery. But first of all, what do you do for our country, man? Tell folks what you're doing right now.
Right now, I'm in the Army Reserves as a pilot. Yeah, flying airplanes around, taking generals where they need to go.
Are you doing some training too?
What do you mean training?
You training people to do stuff?
Oh yeah, so I train everybody in the unit. So I'm the senior instructor pilot. So it's my job to manage all that. And
how is the state of our military? And look at that face you just made.
It's getting better. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Over the last couple of years, there's a lot better things that have happened.
Yeah,
a lot better decisions being made.
What's the hardest thing about training folks? Like new guys coming in.
Man, I would say it depends on their attitude, right? Like, I can take somebody with a good attitude, but they're not very good at flying.
Yeah,
and just teach them 18 times.
It's the teachability when people just aren't teachable.
If they have a bad attitude and they know everything,
that's hard when somebody's not teachable. Mm-hmm. That is very difficult. Yeah. So, all right, how did you get involved with the military? How did that happen?
Man,
it was a while back.
It was a while ago.
You're getting old, man.
Yeah, 21 years.
Golly.
So I was actually grew up an Army brat. My dad was a 160th pilot, special operations pilot. So we lived at Fort Campbell my whole life. So I was around it.
Wow.
My older brother was like the kid that wore all the military stuff and shaved his head and
ROTC,
JRTC, all that stuff. So he did all that, and then he actually commissioned. He's still in. He's a colonel now.
Oh, wow.
He's a brigade commander at 3rd Cab. So he's still doing that, but I kind of followed it and got interested with him.
Kind of looked up to him?
I did.
Yeah.
He was just a good leader. He was always just, nice to people. And, he wasn't that guy looking for power or anything like that. So
a lot of those guys in the military?
You know what? I'd say it's like 80-20, 20 bad guys, right? Like the 20 bad leaders.
Yeah.
I haven't run across a whole lot, maybe 4 or 5.
Well, that's good news.
Senior leaders, yeah. So I think a lot of guys peer him out.
Yeah. So you're watching your brother, seeing how he's excelled and kind of...
follow that route. Mm-hmm. But in all honesty, when I left high school, I had no desire to go in the military.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. Yeah. What were you thinking about doing?
So my parents were paying for. I didn't really have a scholarship, but I was supposed to go to UT Knoxville and just go to college. I really didn't have a plan. I was just going to go and do 2 years and then pick my major later.
Yeah.
But then I ended up getting arrested my senior year for drinking.
Got in some trouble.
I
can't believe it.
I know, right? And then,
what happened your senior? You just kind of fluffed around.
So they have a golf course at Fort Campbell, and I used to work at the officers club, and I had access to the golf carts because the golf carts.
I love where this is going.
And we had a party one night for our senior year, and I went and borrowed some golf carts. So we wrecked the course, got in trouble, got arrested, got underage drinking and trespassing charges. So
how'd your folks respond to that?
There was probably 20 senior officer, so like major and above kids there. And my dad's a warrant officer. So
oh my goodness.
me and the other warrant officer kid were the only two that were actually made to stand. I'd been 18 for 8 days. So I was charged as an adult.
Oh, geez.
And so.
Not a good start.
No. So my dad, he made me do, he goes, I'm not getting you out. All the other kids' dads went and talked to the MPs and, lesser things happened to them.
Kind of smoothed it over.
Yeah,
But your dad's like, you're going to, and you feel that was good for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He was like, he was there with me watching me from the back of the court, but he didn't try to go to bosses and get me out. So.
Yeah. Too many parents do that, huh?
Yeah. So it's just not accountability. So that kind of taught me on about that. And then.
So what were the consequences?
I had to pay restitution.
Yeah.
Pay money and that was it.
I bet you it was, are you still paying?
No, it wasn't. It was fun though. I mean,
so it's just kind of a tough start getting off and I think you told me you went down to Tennessee. Yeah. Did you end up going to Tennessee?
No, I went to Austin Peay State University. So
that's right.
Right there in Clarksville, right outside of Fort Campbell. Fort Campbell's on Kentucky-Tennessee border.
Okay.
It's actually, most of it's in Tennessee. It's just the post offices.
Because you and I went to Nashville and you were like, some of your stomping grounds.
That was. So yeah. So like we went to, where we went in between Nashville and Clarksville was, I used to actually live out there with my fraternity brother. So I went Austin Peay, joined the fraternity, joined Sigma Chi, and then majored in drinking and grades were bad.
Yeah.
Academic probation.
So a lot of people have a lot of reasons for drinking. What yours was just pure fun, just one.
I was just what everyone else was doing in high school. I started probably my sophomore year drinking and smoking, weed. So it was just, I was on the baseball and soccer team, and that's what you did afterward. And you hung out at the weekends with your friends, and that was just what you did.
So how did the military pop into existence? Because you're just living your best life, goofing off. Yeah.
Yeah. No plan in life. So my dad retired in 2002 and moved to Kernersville in between Greensboro and Winston. So I did another year there in Clarksville, kind of trying to live on my own, living with friends, working at restaurants, and wasn't really doing well. So I ended up moving out to Wilmington with my brother when he graduated high school, my little brother. And then didn't like Wilmington because I didn't care for the beach. And then I moved back with my parents in 2003. That same time, my brother had graduated college, and then he was in flight school down at Fort Rucker. So I went down there with my parents for family day. You get to go down and watch them. They come flying into the stage.
What was he flying?
It was just the trainer helicopters at that time. Yeah. So it was just a little TH-67. But you got to see everybody. It was cool for not seeing that. And you get to see it up close, and you get to see him doing it. And I got to meet the people. I was like, man, some of these people, like, I just thought you had to be this genius person to fly. Yeah. And some of the people I met, I was like, I could probably do this.
I could do that. If that dude could do it, I could do
it. So luckily the warrant officer program, which is what my dad was a warrant officer, you don't have to have a degree. Okay. So my brother went the commission route. He got a degree in psychology in 4.5 years. So he's went that route.
So when you went to Austin, you didn't get
No, I did a year and I was out.
Yeah. Okay.
I tried to go to Cape Fear Community College in Wilmington.
Yeah.
I went there for a semester and then bounced back over to my parents' house, working landscaping.
And so you're checking out this thing that's going on with your brother, and it's something's percolating inside of you.
Yeah. So I think my fraternity brother and I that I'd end up living with out there we had looked at going like in the reserves or the Coast Guard. We had kind of started venturing that way. We just never really made a decision about it. But once I saw my brother and everything, I was like, yeah, I guess this is it. This is the route. So they had what's called street to seat or high school to flight school through the warrant officer, where you can pretty much come right out of high school at 18 and join as a warrant, and you go right to flight school, which we had a couple of those guys when I went through training. But it was.
How long was that flight school then?
18 months.
How hard was it? Do you feel like so I'm just curious, like I got another buddy who's a great pilot, and do you think that there's some folks who that's like a gift, like you're good at it? Is that something like, well, if he's an athlete, or this guy's like, super good at math or whatever? Do you think that flying is a gift?
I do. I think it is. Like when I went through flight school, so you go through stages, and when I got to the stage that I saw my brother in, it came natural to me. So they say, I don't know, 8 to 10 hours, you find the hover button, right? That's where when you start picking up the helicopter to hover, you're everywhere, and the instructor has to stop it from crashing. And you do that, and usually about the 8th hour.
That's crazy.
It's about where you hit the hover button, where it just holds steady for you.
Was that just?
It's just crazy because you're so mad, you're just chasing it, and you're behind what you're supposed to be doing, and the instructor's laughing because, he knows exactly what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, about 5 hours.
It's a feel. It's a
feel of the aircraft. Yeah, and you stop chasing it, and light touches and all that. So it just kind of came natural from that point on. Just blessed to get put in positions and be trusted with early on in my career.
So you start to click, you get through flight school, and then where from there?
From flight school, we go to, I moved back to Raleigh. So I had joined the North Carolina Guard in 2004. I was enlisted for 2 years. And then I went through, they sent me to Warrant Officer School. So I was in Raleigh at RDU, and they sent me to flight school to fly Apaches.
Apaches.
Yeah. So I came out Apache qualified.
What was that like?
It was hard. It was, just because of the way that there was just a lot of problems at Rucker as far as like maintenance and stuff. So it extended the course. It's like 8 months just to get through the Apache course.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like different phases, right? So I went through Dunker Qual. You go through flight school on the 67, then the Apache, and then went through SEER school after that. There's just a bunch of different stuff.
So what's the Apache used for? So people are like not familiar with all these different
It's an attack aircraft.
Yeah.
Attack helicopter. This is used to, kill people.
Yeah.
Reconnaissance and killing.
So you're starting into, reserves, Coast Guard, but now you're getting into a little deeper into like, I don't know, some more serious assignments. What? So when was your first deployment? Like, take us to that place.
So when I came out of flight school, I did. I came back to Raleigh. I worked as a GS. I was a GS-8 when I left to go to flight school. I was a flight ops guy, and that job allowed me to be a warrant as well. The way the Guard works is you can be a federal employee, but you have to be in the Guard. It's dual. You have to be dual status. So I was able to be a warrant and come back. So I came back and worked as that and flew and trained, and I made pilot in command very early in my career, especially for an Apache pilot. And then 2008, I went to a school tactical operations officer school, TAC Ops. That's where you learn to just be tactics and about the equipment on the aircraft for a deployment. And then 2009, I deployed to Iraq.
Okay. Tell us about that. 2009, deployed to Iraq. What was going on politically? What was the climate? What was happening?
So when we got over there, we were supposed to go to Balad, which is outside of Baghdad. And then they had split Iraq up into sectors. You had Iraq North, Center, and South. And then they changed us last minute. We went down to Basra down in the south, which is, 10 miles from the Iran border and like 30 miles from Kuwait. So we were responsible from there all the way up to south of Baghdad.
What was happening? Why were we involved in 2009?
So we were over there. A lot of stuff that we did ended up being like election stuff. That would probably be like the most contested. So the Iraqis ended up, we helped them get their election stuff done.
Yeah.
But because they'd get in line for the elections, IEDs, suicide bombers, V-bids, vehicle bombed, all those were out there. So our job was to kind of fly over the crowd as they went in and voted and try to spot what we could spot.
Yeah.
So,
was that pretty rampant? A lot of...
Yeah. VBIDs and stuff like that. Yeah, they would blow up down in Basra. They were very active with rockets and mortars and like setting dump trucks. They would put dump trucks or a flatbed style dump truck that you can elevate. And they would put 40, 50 rockets on it. They set a timer and leave, connect to a battery.
How would you identify that? I mean, just you're flying over. How do you see that?
You can see it in FLIR. So forward looking infrared. So that's like the hot spots.
Yeah.
Right. So I can see heated stuff. So a truck engine would stand out. So, and you're just trained to look for it. Especially after you've been over there a while, you just know kind of.
So are you're flying this helicopter, and are you also part of the surveillance? Like what are all the things that you're trying to pay attention to at the same time?
If you're, it depends on what seat you're in, right? The Apache is a tandem seat. So you're sitting front and back of each other, not side by side. And I can't talk to him. It's completely ballistic glass around both seats.
So you can't talk to
I can't talk verbally like you and I are. I can talk over our ICS, our headset. But the other helicopters, if I'm sitting next to you like this, I can just tap you. Yeah, you can have a conversation outside the ICS. So that makes it a little bit more difficult. But the seats were split up for what duties you were doing. The front seat was primarily, he had a video camera up there that he was using. He could control it with his hands. And then he had a screen in front of him. And then he was using the TADS, which is the camera that he was using up front. And he would just look around. He could look outside. And we have where, if you've ever seen the videos, we have a helmet that allows us to move our head, and the TADS will follow it. So the guy could look and then just slave it to his head.
The technology in these things is crazy.
It's just nuts, man.
But how much? I mean, it just feels like so many different things happening at the multitasking.
Yeah. So he's doing all that, and then I'm flying. So he's honestly trusting me not to hit anything. When you start flying right over the treetops at night, blacked out, the dude's working the camera, and the back seat is flying it. So I was primarily flew back. So I'm kind of control the aircraft, trying not to hit things. Both of us have 5 radios going off at one time.
And it's pitch black.
Yeah, if you fly at night, it's dark, pitch black. The TADS is good because and I had a PIMBUS FLIR, so in my eyeball, I had a picture that I could see out front. So I had a little thing in my eye, a little monocle in my eyeball.
Like a little thing that.
Yeah, it came down in front of here, and so that's what you use to look. And the FLIR,
crazy.
It turns.
I thought that was only like Star Wars,
Nah, it's before that.
That's for real.
Yeah, so it's real. So that's how I used to look and fly, or I'd use night vision goggles, and fly at night.
So any close calls in that time? Like people, I'm sure they're shooting at you.
Oh yeah, they're shooting normal stuff, small arms and heavy machine gun stuff. No big RPG threat. Manpad threat was kind of gone.
Yeah.
At that point, it was really the base attacks were because they would set that dump truck to shoot rockets, and then they would launch us. If we were in the air, they would send us over to that grid, and we'd go check it out and see if we could catch people leaving.
But you're always putting yourself in harm's way, and that's so incredible.
Every day was 12 hour was our normal shift. You could go to 14 if you needed to, but I was flying 6 to 8 hours every day for a year.
And it gets to the point where like are there times where you're just like haven't slept, you're in that seat going like, I mean, just the fatigue and the focus that you have to have. It's just, I respect you so much for that. It's just insane what you guys do, and like the pressure and the strain.
Yeah.
And it's over years and years and years. And we're going to get to that, like the toll that takes on a person. But all right. So when did you said there's some work with, do we go to the DEA next or what's?
So we did. I got back from Iraq in 2010. We were supposed to go to Afghanistan in 2014 with my Apache unit, and we got off-ramped on that one. So, I enjoyed the deployment. I just liked that lifestyle. I liked being over there and doing those things.
What did you like? What did you like?
I mean, the camaraderie was always a good part of it, but just the adrenaline rush is what it is. I mean, that's what you're chasing. So I spent...
Hard to come home after all that.
It's hard to come home for sure, yeah. Like, and when you're gone for a month, and I honestly didn't think about this. My wife pointed it out like many years later. Like you're over there, and especially for like a year, you don't get a hug, a kiss. There's like zero emotional stuff that normal people get every day, right?
Right.
And you don't get it from your kids, you don't get it from your wife. I mean, you hug your buddy,
right
over there, but that's not that kind of emotional
connection. Yeah.
So you're missing out. Yeah. So your body is like almost compartmentalized that, right? It got rid of all that.
Yeah, which it's a basic human need.
That's right.
That connection, that human connection. But when working with veterans, a lot of times they're coming home and they're like, what's going on with me? Besides, the trauma and all of that, it's that esprit de corps, that spirit of togetherness. We're all on mission, and then like that adrenaline. It's jolting to come home. And so 2010 you're finished up.
Yep, 10. So I sat for 4 or 5. I thought we were going to go to Afghanistan, so I was pretty excited. So I stayed in with the unit. I was working full-time as instructor pilot, so I was a GS at that point still. So I was working there doing my guard stuff, and then the unit was just kind of, I don't know, it was just kind of going away. It wasn't like I wanted. It was a little bit toxic in my opinion.
Okay.
So I left the full-time job and went to fly EMS, and that's where I was flying up in West Virginia.
Oh, that's right. So now you're what are you flying up there?
I was flying 206s and 407s. So the 206 is like the trainer that we had down at Rucker. And 407s is like its big brother. It's got 2 extra blades on it, a little bit more power.
And you're up in the mountains going in, doing rescues, more adrenaline.
It was all adrenaline. That was what I enjoyed about it. I was a travel pilot, so I was responsible for like Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia. I forget a few other states, but West Virginia was so hard to fill in Eastern Kentucky because people don't like the mountains. Unless you fly in the mountains, people aren't fans of them. It's tricky.
But you'd been doing that. I mean, I've
been training for it. I had done a course where I went out to Colorado in that same time, a helicopter at 206, and they teach you how to hover above a mountain at 14,500 feet using wind and all that. It's a power management mountain course in Colorado. Yeah.
There's all kinds of different wind shears hitting.
Turbulence, all that stuff. But you learn how to read it and understand what it's going to do to you and how to get out of it or not get yourself into it. So I had all that. So I enjoyed, again, this adrenaline, right? Something more than just the basic flight profile.
This is a little off the grid here, but the opioid epidemic, I lived in West Virginia doing recovery work out there. Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia is where that opioid epidemic really got ramped up.
Yeah.
And with EMS, I think you've said it, like that was a big part of.
I flew, yeah. So Logan, West Virginia was really bad. I was kind of on the western side of West Virginia, south of Charleston. And then you have the highway that runs to Charleston. So we would pick along Logan up 119, I think it was the highway. And we would pick up drug overdose. They gave us Narcan to carry with us in the event we come in contact with stuff. Just drug overdose. And then, like you said, it went up to like the Huntington area and then Portsmouth, Ohio. I worked at Portsmouth. That was really bad. But that was,
huge part of what you were doing.
It was all drug overdose pickup, drug overdose. Yeah.
What year was that? What year?
Started in 14. And then I flew off and on with area vac in between contracts. So when a contract fell through or ended or whatever, and I was waiting, I would go there. So 14 to 15, I did a straight year there, and that was mostly in Logan, West Virginia, and Beckley, West Virginia.
A lot of.
So, but I flew out of Portsmouth because I was a travel guy, like I said. So I would bounce around. Portsmouth was really bad. Like we were in downtown Portsmouth. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's not nice.
Yeah.
Just, people coming over, knocking on doors late at night, looking for needles and other stuff because they know we're an EMS.
What is that near?
Portsmouth is right on the border.
Right.
It's like sits on the border of Ohio and West Virginia.
Yeah.
So it's like.
So that Montgomery County, I remember reading in Dreamland about how, they had to have cold locker storage shipped in because of all the drug overdoses.
Yeah.
For the coroner, because they just didn't have enough room to store all the bodies because it got it was like a war zone.
Yeah, it was.
And that's what you were saying.
It was
about
nuts,
that time. It was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And so you went from responding to then we were just talking about your involved. How did you get involved with the DEA? How did that happen?
So I left there and went to, in 2016, I moved to Rucker for like an 8-month period. I took the wife and kids with me. We moved to Fort Rucker and I went and taught there in the Apache course. And then I met an old instructor pilot who was doing this DEA contract. We ended up on a flight together because I had to come back to Raleigh and drill. I was still in the Guard.
Life is about connections.
It is. And I just sat next to this guy. He was our instructor 8 years. I was been like 8 or 9 years I've been out of flight school. So I was like, hey, asked him what he was doing, told me what he was doing. He's like, we're looking for Apache guys that are willing to get shot at. Here, give me your information. And I'd actually been looking for contract work in Afghanistan at this time.
Wow.
Was huge. It was probably the highest paying, and we had some people research this. It was one of the highest paying rotary wing pilot jobs, helicopter pilot jobs in the world.
Just because of how dangerous
Just because of how dangerous it was. Yeah. Between there and Iraq, the contracts you would get.
And you're like, absolutely.
Yes.
Didn't even blink at it.
Nope.
What's your wife thinking at this point?
Man.
Does she know?
Oh, yeah, yeah. We would
at
have
the time, did she know?
So like we would talk and everything. When I was teaching at Rucker, it was a fantastic life. I worked maybe 5 or 6 hours. Then I was off the rest of the time. So I would go and I would instruct in the Apache. Like I went through the Apache course, and when I did, I went back as an instructor and as a contractor. So life was good. So we would talk a lot, and she knew that I wanted to go do something else over there. And I'd been searching, right? Applying for jobs for different contractors, but I was just.
How do you explain that? I think Erin is, she's put up with a lot with you, buddy. And so you got, at that point in 2016, you got 2 kids.
Yep.
How old are they at that time, 2016?
Hayden was 7, 8 years old. Joel was 6.
Yeah, so you got 8 and 6-year-old at home. You're kind of living a pretty chill life. You're working 5, 6 hours a day, home all the time. And now you're like, hey, Erin, I want to go get shot at in Afghanistan. Is that cool? And she's like,
yeah. Well, first I read off that they pay a lot of money.
Sure, please do.
I was like, they pay a lot of money. Like,
oh, okay.
I'll show you the number. She's like, okay, fine. But she had always told me that her number one rule, she's like, you can do whatever you want. Number one rule is I'm going to live where I want. So
okay,
as long as she's happy living there. So that's why we've lived where we have in North Carolina. So after we came back from Rucker, then we've moved around the town, different houses, but we haven't left. And that's the rule. So any job offer I get, I have to be able to do it with her living
here. Military spouses, man, they go through a lot.
Yeah. But she was a military brat too. So she grew up.
She knew how that
her
worked.
Dad left like every 3 years to Korea so he could stay at Campbell because he would get to pick his duty station. He would pick Campbell. Do 3 years.
She already had a understanding of the culture.
She did. Yeah. And her brothers were all in the military. Her dad was a Chinook pilot. Brothers are all in, getting out now.
Just surrounded by
military.
Yeah. Lucky her.
Yeah. So yeah, I went over there. I met him, and then he's like, "Hey, come on." So I left in October of 16. They sent me to Ukraine.
Oh wow!
And I went over there to learn how to fly the Mi-17 helicopter.
Well, so tell us about that one.
So that's a Russian transport helicopter. It's actually the most I can't say the word right. Used helicopter in the world. Other than the U.S. doesn't use it. The U.S. thinks it's experimental. So we never really saw it. And I remember seeing a few at Rucker. In my time, we actually ended up finding out there was a program at Fort Rucker where they were flying them and doing all that stuff. So some of the guys from Rucker would come over to this contract I was on. So DEA contract was with the FAST teams. I don't forget what FAST stands for, but it's basically they were going in.
There's a few acronyms in the military.
I forget. They all stand for something.
Just a few of them.
But we were chasing drugs down, Counter-Narcotics missions.
So how many people get into this transport thing? I mean, it's a pretty good size.
Oh
helicopter.
yeah. Oh, it's yeah. So what was it, like 24? You got 24 seats.
My gosh. So you go from an Apache, which is 2-seater.
There's a 2-seater. The only guest you're taking is if you put them on the outside, which we would train to do.
Oh, really?
It's called a spur ride.
How'd you do that?
They would just strap onto the handle and just tuck your head and hope I don't hit nothing. It's not.
Did you do that?
You could do it if you had to.
Did you ever do that?
I never did it.
Okay.
We trained to do it, or we talked about it and went through that, but it was, we never did that.
And you went from this little 2-seater fighter Apache to this gigantic Russian
transfer. So it was different missions too. So attack mission, which I'd always done. I got a little bit of the EMS mission, which is usually like a Black Hawk mission through my civilian stuff. But then I went into the air assault mission, right? Where I was not shooting per se. We had guns and we shot, but it wasn't a strictly attack. I was delivering people to the target. So
you're carrying folks around.
So I had to figure out, and I went through, it was just me and another guy, another pilot. Him and I went through this, and then we had 2 crew chiefs that flew from Afghanistan to meet us, and they went through FE school, flight engineer training, because it paid more on the contract.
So you're wiping out just fields of you slash and burn.
Yeah, so we dropped them, and then that's what they were doing.
So this is Afghanistan. I don't. People don't know.
Yeah,
like
I want to say at one point it may still be. It was like it's the #1 opium producer in the world.
Wow,
for sure, heroin and all that stuff.
So a typical mission would be what?
We'd fly in. So I flew with. At this time, we were just handing over, or not really handing over. We were standing up the special mission wing, and we were trying to get. The goal of the contract was to teach the Afghans how to do what we were doing, and then get handed over to them and let them do it. So they had a unit as well, like the DEA, called the Triple Deuce. There was a narcotics interdiction unit, NIU. And so they were the ground guys being trained by the DEA, and then we would fly them in. So then we went to one Afghan pilot and an American pilot, an Afghan crew chief and an American crew chief. And the crew chiefs are in the back on the guns. They're the mechanics. And so then we were just flying to the target like, hey, this is the field we're going to. Take us there and drop us off.
Dangerous.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, you're going into... I mean, think if you just went to a farmer's field and started attacking his corn. Now you're talking multi-billion-dollar crop.
But these are farmers
it's protected.
They're used to that.
Yeah. So they know we're over there.
What do they got? Like what?
Oh, they got like machine guns, RPGs, the normal stuff.
So they're not farmers. They're not.
I mean, they're opium farmers, but they're also fighters.
The RPGs. And
I mean, everyone has an AK over there. That's like,
it's
just normal, right?
Yeah, it's like a shotgun.
It is. So that's normal. It's the other heavier stuff. So we would go in and just, drop them off and come back, pick them up when they were ready for us.
Did it get hairy?
It did. Yeah. It would, it was, especially landing in the dirt. That's probably the worst part. Landing in the dust when it browns out and you can't really see. So
okay. So you're flying a little bit blind as you're getting closer.
Yeah.
It's just
like a dust storm. Yeah. The most comfortable the best landing is if you landed in their pot fields, because it would cushion it would lessen the dirt. And it would crush their pot.
Yeah. A lot of drugs.
A lot of drugs.
How long were you doing that?
I did that for a couple years.
So let me pause and say, all right, so this is, when did you enlist? 2000?
I enlisted in 2004.
Okay, 2004. Now it's 2016, 17, something like that.
Yeah, 16.
All right. When are you starting to feel this thing take its toll? Are you starting to have any inkling like, man, I'm cracking?
I mean, I didn't know what it was. So when I was going back and forth with this contract, we flew in commercial. So when they were like, hey, you got to come over here on your day, right? I did 90-day rotations, and then I came home for 30. So when you go over, they're like, here, pick what plane ticket you want. And then you fly to Kabul airport. It's not like the military where
it's commercial
flying. So you're going through, so I'd go Raleigh to Paris. They had a direct flight to Paris. Then I'd go Paris to Dubai, spend 24 hours in Dubai in a hotel. And then I'd catch a flight on Fly Dubai into Kabul with Afghans and everything with you. And then you're going through the airport. So that alone right there, I think that's the nerve-wracking. That's as nerve-wracking as just going out and flying, right? Because you just don't know what's going to happen, right? I mean,
Well, you're not as in much control.
No, you're none.
You're in control when you've got your hand on the stick. Like
the military does a good job of maintaining control and kind of taking you away from the danger and putting you all together. But here it's like, all right, man, I'll see you. I'll pick you up at the gate, and you would have to go through all the baggage and
you can feel
customs.
that anxiety go on.
And I didn't know what it was. But over on the plane, that's where I probably first started feeling it. Was the
Well, you and I talked about like even just flying on an airplane, like you're not flying it.
Yeah, you're not in control.
Yeah.
As a pilot, you're like, what's going on? I should be able to see everything.
You want to see who's flying that thing too.
Yeah, so it's, and it starts getting claustrophobic a little bit.
Powerless. You're feeling powerless.
Yeah. Yeah, but you don't realize that at the time. You're
suck it up.
And so, of course, I was drinking at the time. So I would drink. You could drink all the way. If you rode in first class on Fly Dubai, which I did because I didn't want to sit in the back with all the normal Afghans. I could drink all the way to the landing in Kabul.
Some of your coping was drinking. Yeah.
Try to take that edge off. So
yeah.
And then you can actually take, people don't know this, it's a Islamic country, but you can take alcohol into Afghanistan, or you used to before the Taliban took over. You can take 2 bottles.
And you would?
Yeah, because it's bartering, and I would drink a little bit, but it was, if you have to take 3 because they're going to take one from you, the Afghans at baggage. So then that leaves you with 2.
Like a bribe?
Oh yeah. But they just take it. That's not really right.
Sure.
They scan your bag and they pull it out and they zip your bag back up and hand it to you. And it's like, no arguing.
It's just how it is. It's just how it works.
All right. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
You get to keep the other stuff.
That's right. That's why you bring 3. So,
oh, wow, man.
Yeah. Then you're going to lose one.
Yeah.
So that was it. And they had, other alcohol over there. So, and I drank every now and then. It was just a lot, because you're at high altitude. You're at like 66,000 feet, 6,700 feet.
Yeah.
So, the altitude will get to you too, especially if you drink.
The big drinking culture in the military.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we did. Both those jobs, we had, the compound we lived in was in the middle of Afghan land. So we had, we were in the middle of Afghan Air Force people. So we had access to Afghans.
Yeah.
We were like behind one wall versus the base there at Kabul. Kabul International, whatever that is. Yeah. Their base was guarded and protected and all that. And we could go on there. We just had an up armored vehicle. We had a Land Cruiser that we would drive around and go in and off the base.
Wow.
So like they would do patrols outside past the door of our compound, all fully geared up with their weapons. And we would walk around in t-shirts and shorts and a pistol and like wave at them. So
wow, man,
it was a different world. It was,
is it hard to is it crazy to think that you were doing that stuff?
It is now that you kind of look back on it, but that was what I was chasing. I read books. I read like every book there was from like 01 to 08 on the Afghan war that would come out from all the operators and the people that would do the mission. So I was kind of chasing that.
So the DEA lasted how long? How long were you working with?
A couple years. I went to, I came back and went, the contract ended and then they were re-upping it. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to come back. I went over, I was already interviewing and trying to go to this other program.
This episode is sponsored by Recovery Alive, a Christ-centered recovery movement, helping people rebuild their lives, restore relationships, and renew their faith. Through safe recovery homes, life-changing support groups, and personalized coaching, Recovery Alive provides hope and a clear path forward for those battling addiction, mental health challenges, or life's toughest seasons. I've seen firsthand how this community changes lives, and yours could be next. Learn more at recoveryalive.com.
So I actually went to Air Methods over here in Wayne County, and I flew EMS there for Tar Heel 3. I flew for UNC Hospital for about 6 months while I waited for the process of this other company. So I had to go through all that background check and everything, and then
you started.
I just moved down to Kandahar. Still flew the Mi-17. That was kind of what drew me down there.
Yeah.
The big part was the day change. So I went to 60 days on in country and 60 days home, because that 90-30 was kind of.
Then you started flying with some other interesting folks that you can't talk a whole lot.
Yep.
You can talk around it, but you can't talk to.
Yeah. So, I went down there. There's, we were still flying the same thing. We were flying Afghans around and dropping them off in different places. Kind of doing the same thing I was doing before, which was kind of why I changed jobs. It was just a little bit more, it was a little bit more fun, a little bit more action. Because sometimes at the other one, it turned into teaching the Afghans a lot and doing a lot of instruction flights on the DA one. Because the DA left about ended 16, 17.
Okay.
And then it became all right, just keep training the Afghans on how to do this stuff.
And there was
So
other government agencies.
Yeah, they were looking for pilots, so I jumped over to that contract and went to.
I want to. So we've talked about it before. So when you got involved with these other government agencies, you had to do some very unique training in case you got caught.
Yep.
Can you tell? That's the stuff that's insane to me. Like, that is the insanity of how far a person will commit to
to going.
Yeah, to being involved in all of this. Yeah. So
So I actually
torture training.
It is, but I went through SEER school when I went through flight school.
SEER school.
Yeah. So survival, evasion, resistance, and escape.
So tell us about that. Like what did that involve?
So they put you out.
Nuts.
It's 21 days. If I remember when I went through, it's 21. They lock you down. You're in a fenced in area. You can't talk, no phones, no anything, no outside world contact. And then they teach you, survival school, how to eat the right plants and not wipe with poison ivy. And
that's a good idea.
That's a very good idea. And how to drink water and all the things that you would go to in a survival school. That's like the first piece of it. So that was a really good, in the event you're in the desert
eating
or
bugs
jungle,
and Bear Grylls kind of stuff. Yeah.
And so they make you go into the woods. So they drop you at a spot in the woods and then they tell you to navigate. And I had a team of 5 and we were all pilots. So I had 2 warrant officers, 2 commissioned officers. 2 of the guys I was with were right out of West Point. And one of them was what people think of as a bad West Pointer, and one of them was a great dude.
What's the difference between a bad and a good West Pointer?
They're just overbearingly thinking they're in control.
Pride?
Right? Yeah. So the ego comes with I went to West Point. It's a great school. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes there's a little bit more pride in the power thing and the control. And
yeah.
I'm in charge here, that kind of stuff. So there was one of those guys, and you're in the middle of the woods, right? And rank doesn't matter at this point.
No,
we're in the middle of the woods. Right? And we had another E5. He was a supply sergeant from the 160th, and the lieutenant was giving the E5 a hard time. So we had to squash that.
Yeah.
By
so you're dealing with personalities while you're trying
you're trying to navigate, and you're being chased by bad people, right? So
that's part of the training is like they're trying to kill you, and you're trying to get.
So the first part of it is teaching you how to survive and doing all those things, and then it comes the practical part where the hands-on. All right, here, go out in the woods.
They just drop you in the middle of nowhere, and you got like a compass.
They give you a compass and a map. Because I had a female warrant officer on my team, we were allowed to have wipies.
Okay,
so that helped. That worked out well for us.
Wipies.
I think we could pack. We had a Camelback that we had. You've seen the ones that has like the little
water leads.
Yeah, it's got the water, but it's got also a little bit of storage.
Oh, sure.
So we were able to put. She could put the wipies, and then we could take anything we wanted inside of that. So one of us brought like a poncho liner, which is like a waterproof thing that you can put up and cover up with, and then some of us brought our the whoopee basically, so you could kind of cover up with it. Oh. We were just strategically trying to figure out like what to bring.
How much time did you have to get out of there?
We had 5 days of running through the woods, so we had plenty of time. So
people are trying to kill you, like what?
They're chasing you.
Laser?
No, they're not. There's no weapons or anything involved. Right. You just can kind of hear them. You got to avoid the roads because you're in a training area.
Yeah.
The vehicles are out driving, and they have Operation 4
5 days.
To chase you. Yeah, so you're using everything they taught you. At the beginning, they give you a chicken and a rabbit as a team, and then you got to kill it. They give you a live one, and you got to kill it. And if you're not from the country, or if you're a northern, they make you kill it. And they teach you how to chop its neck and kill it, and then skin it, and then most of us, they taught you how to make like jerky out of it, so you could make put a fire in the ground and then smoke it, and then that's what we ate. That was the only thing we had for those 5 days.
Chicken and a rabbit for 5 days.
Actually, if we did good and you found some things, we ran into a guy out in the woods who gave us some information, and he gave us like an MRE pack of fruit. And so it'd been like 2 days. So then I eat this fruit.
That's not a good idea. You'd be using those wipies a lot.
Came in handy. So that was the only food I got.
Oh my God.
Until you got to the camp. So eventually you're going to get rolled up. You're going to get captured. You put the hoods on.
All right. Now here's the crazy stuff. So they put the hoods on you.
Yeah. So they put that on you. You're rolled up. They take you to the camp, and now you're in captivity.
And you said it's a lot. You said there's a show out there, and I had seen it. Like that. Just
Special Forces, I think is what it's called. And
you said it's pretty close.
It's pretty. It's probably like 60%, 70%, because there's a lot of classified stuff still involved in SEER school.
Yeah,
with techniques and stuff on how to not crack and all those things. So
now they put the hood on you, and now they're like going, you got to learn how to survive torture and not give up too much information.
Interrogation and all that stuff. Yeah, and of course we had classes on that before we came out. So all that stuff is taught in the classroom. and then they bring you out.
What do they do? What are some of the highlights of the torture?
The initial interrogation, because they'll bring you out of the van, and then you're all standing in a circle and they're yelling at you, asking you why you're here, and all the common stuff, and you're just kind of doing what you've been trained to do.
Right.
But we had a female, so they brought her in the middle and started picking on her.
That's hard, huh?
It's hard. So that, they mess with that, right? All the
any edge,
the manliness, right? Because you're going to want to protect. I mean, it's just it's just who we are as people. So they did that, and then they're asking about these other things. But this is where we had the fun, and we ended up turning in that bad lieutenant, like we told on him.
Oh, really?
And then he got picked on by. That was actually kind of funny. So you got to laugh a little bit. Yeah. So they put you, they put you in a camp in a box, and then you're just
don't just breeze past that. Now they put you in a box.
Yeah.
How big is this box?
I don't know. It's probably a little bit taller than me, I guess. Probably, I don't know.
It's like a coffin.
It's like a coffin, probably. Yeah. Standing up.
No room to move.
Nope. You got a tin can that you could do what in.
No wipes.
And that's it. No wipes in that one. But you ain't got nothing left.
How long are you in there?
I don't know. I really don't, because it's sleep deprivation. I think a couple days.
2 days in a coffin.
But I mean, they move you in and around and stuff, and then you go into interrogation. They interrogate you and all that.
So
just like a show, right?
I'm saying this not just for this is crazy, but you're already working through trauma of seeing people getting killed and being involved in all of that. You're involved in every day kind of when I talk to people with post-traumatic stress, even folks who just were in the military and didn't necessarily even see a bunch of action. It's just like you're in harm's way, so you're kind of always in this state of hypervigilance. Your shoulders are always hunched. So you got all of this going on. Plus now you're going through this torture school. I mean, it's just the capacity was getting to You don't have any margin left at this point.
That was the hardest part. That's the hardest thing I've done, the school wise, right? That was probably the closest I've come to quitting. And I remember sitting down somewhere. We were sitting there with our hood on, and people just started yelling, "I quit!" And they would you could hear them kind of rustling around and getting up. And
the people who were being tortured, they'd be like, "I'm out."
The other people, yeah. So there's a lot of downtime. So you're kind of sitting, right? So I mean, if you've seen the show, this is all kind of in the show. You see that they're all kind of around each other, and dudes would just. I'm out. So then in your mind, I was like, they're plants. They're doing this to get me, but you don't know, right? I'm just trying to tell myself, make me feel good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to quit. That was probably when they started doing it, saying that was probably the closest I came to I'm with them.
What kept you in?
I think the number one thing is in my head, I kept saying they can't kill me. This is a training event. They're not allowed to kill me. Can't kill me. If they kill me, that's bad, right? For the military.
Well, yeah, that would be it.
So that level of knowing was what kind of kept me together. That I got to do this. I know this is only this many days. All right. They told me this is a 21-day course. Right. They can't, insane. It's not like I'm being in captivity forever. I think that's what kind of went in my mind. I was able to.
So you're going around getting bad guys, working for these other agencies, doing some very dangerous things, all the while flying commercial, still having these things that you don't even know how to put a label on some of the emotions that you're having. What's turning out to be high anxiety, and it's building and it's building and it's building. So, kind of lead us up to the moment where things broke.
Okay.
Internally.
Yeah. So, like I said, going in and out of Kabul, that's where I kind of started feeling it first. And
what was it? What can you describe it? What was it?
It was just anxiousness, right? I don't think I got to panic levels, but just the anxiousness of what's going to happen when I'm there. Even though I've been there, I know what to do.
Yeah,
it's still just that anxiousness of
I'm not in control.
I don't know what's happening. Mm-hmm. The airport could blow up because they blow up airports there. So it's all those things, right? And that's kind of in your head, and
you're just
you kind of just squash it down. Yeah,
but you're a ball of tension, man. You're ready.
Trying to sleep, taking sleep medicine to try to sleep all the way over, so that you don't have to think about all that. But yeah, so then I get over, and later on toward my end of the Afghanistan stuff, a couple of the rotations that I went on, there was one, we ended up getting over there and the aircraft were down for a few days. So we had a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
And luckily we had that downtime because I got over there, and that was probably the first time where that full anxiety
What is that?
Almost to a panic attack.
Almost to a panic attack.
Yeah.
Heart going 1,000 miles an hour.
Couldn't sleep.
Can't
sweating, sitting in my room. Luckily, at that point, we had our own room.
Mm-hmm.
I had my own bathroom. So I didn't have to really go anywhere. So I could just isolate, which is not good. But that's what I would start doing.
Yeah.
And unless someone came and knocked on my door and was like, hey, we got to go do this. And then even then, when we would go out there and start doing stuff, I still had that just anxiety with me. I couldn't like quell it down.
Nothing you could do, nothing you could find.
About 7 days.
Yeah. Is it talking about it kind of hard sometimes?
Yeah.
Just, you can almost feel it, huh?
I can go back. I mean, I guess exactly what I was doing. And, and then after those 7 days, we went back to flying and it kind of like, I was able to settle it down.
So people might be watching or listening. They're like, here's a pilot and he's got this, I mean, high anxiety, like, and we're going to put him in an airplane, or we're going to put him in we're going to let him fly a helicopter. And you're saying, actually, that's what brought things down.
Yeah, because I was able to concentrate again. It wasn't me sitting around not knowing. Like I said, I didn't have a purpose at that point. I'm not going to go to the gym. So I was going to the gym like twice a day, and we ate. We had a lot of food and stuff available. So I was able to do those things, but I still didn't have, like, the purpose was gone.
Yeah, and I think this is the misnomer, or the misunderstanding about a lot of folks who are working through this anxiety trauma, is that, like a movie picture would be a guy under pressure cracking. But you're saying like the pressure is what, it was almost like your coping mechanism. It's when you were alone, when you're by yourself, when you're actually in a low pressure situation, that's when things really ramp up, because you're in your head, you're thinking about stuff.
Yep.
And you can't do nothing. You can't get the adrenaline. Adrenaline was sore. You were a drinker, but adrenaline was kind of your coping mechanism.
Yeah. Adrenaline. Yeah. It's definitely what I was chasing. And then like over there on the other side, again, I had access to alcohol the entire time. So we would drink and everything. That was just the norm. But I think that was also the point where, while I was going through that, I started to realize that just drinking, I felt terrible. Like if I would drink with everybody and then I would go to bed, I wouldn't sleep.
Yeah.
And we're on call for stuff.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of crews. So it's really us to do a lot of stuff. And I would just feel terrible. Like my body would feel awful the next day. So I was like, I honestly quit drinking while I was overseas.
Yeah.
On those last few rotations. Okay. Because I just,
it wasn't working. You felt like garbage.
I felt garbage. Yeah. So I'd rather just go to the gym.
Yeah.
And everybody over there worked out. So, I always had somebody to work out with, but yeah, I just felt better.
So then Egypt.
Yeah. So I left all that stuff in Afghanistan. And then when did I go to Egypt? 22?
Yeah.
I think it was 22. So I came back from all that Afghanistan stuff, went to the instructor pilot course for the airplane. I'm flying the King Air for the Army. And then I was going to Egypt. So we have a 6-month rotation that we do every year. And it's in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, which is a resort town on the Red Sea, on the Sinai Peninsula.
Yeah.
Beautiful area. No stress. It's like 4 pilots. We had 1 airplane, 4 pilots. And it was just easy, like civilian clothes.
Yeah.
Because we're flying internationally.
Living the dream.
So no pressure.
Yeah.
And then
but there's some pressure coming from
my brain disagreed with me. So yeah, I just started having the same attacks that I had in Afghanistan. And there's a year and a half between when I was last in Afghanistan and when I was in Egypt. So of course, when I came out of there and I left Afghanistan, it'll fix itself. Like, I'm fine.
It'll be fine.
I'm not doing this again.
I ignore it. It'll go away.
It'll go away. Yeah. I could just put it in a box. It won't come back up. So,
but it's cooking.
Yeah.
It's
coming up.
It's going to
happen. So it's going to happen somewhere. So I get over there and
that's a message too for anybody listening. Like, you can't, your
body's going to win.
It's just, the body keeps the score. It's coming out and it doesn't just go away. Time doesn't heal it. It's just, it's a little bit of a ticking time bomb. It was for you.
It was.
Because in Egypt, it all.
Yeah. So I was there for maybe a week and I was fine because I was monitoring myself and doing what I could because I remembered the things from Afghanistan. So, all right, do this, calm myself down. I wasn't drinking caffeine.
Yeah.
I didn't, I stopped drinking caffeine in Afghanistan to try and fight what I was fighting too.
Okay.
Because I was drinking like 5-6 cups of espresso coffee. Like, it was bad. There was a lot of caffeine.
Yeah.
So I thought that'll help calm me down. So again, I was monitoring, and then like 7 days in, it just hit me. I was doing good flying, and then bam. And it's just that heightened anxiety, and then panic attacks kind of started setting in.
And people who've not had a panic attack, it's like you're having a medical emergency.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
And you're having this, and there's somebody involved in your life would be like, there's no reason that you should be feeling this way. You're living it up. You're in a resort town.
I have my own room. I have a 2-bedroom, like I have a 2-bedroom suite with my own bathroom, food right next door, like 4 restaurants. We can drink here on this, at this deployment too.
Just beautiful.
All the options in the world. The Red Sea is right there.
Yeah.
They have instructors to teach you how to dive right there. I eat chow hall, the food. I sit there and look over the Red Sea. I mean, so relaxing.
So what is the problem, man?
I don't know.
Get over it.
I know, right? Just deal with it. That's what my boss tried to tell me.
Yeah.
So it was harder to have a conversation with him. Yeah, and he knew my background and what I had done. So, I was like, look, man, I'm no. You can always ground yourself as a pilot, right? So I went to him and was like, look, I'm not going to fly. Let me try to fix it on my own.
How hard was that to admit that I can't fly?
Yeah, it's hard. I don't think at that point I'd ever done that in my career.
Yeah,
like self-tapped out. And I was the instructor over there, so I was the only guy that could give check rides to people to keep them flying. So if they don't have it, they're grounded. And maintenance runs. So if the aircraft breaks, certain things need a maintenance check.
You're worried about disappointing other
Yeah.
people.
Well, the mission can't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because we had, like I said, a few pilots. And just
but that's how serious this was.
Yeah. But at that time, I was like, I just can't do this. So I had contemplated all that. I was like, I can't do this. It was way bad and way worse than it was.
How did your superiors respond? I mean, they care about you.
They do. It was a mixed bag. Like my
the
OIC
culture doesn't do very well with it.
No, my OIC over there was like, it almost like he didn't believe me, but he kind of did. And then I talked to another buddy of mine that was over there, who he was going through the same thing. So him and I ended up talking. And
did you know that before?
I did. We had talked about it. Him and I had flown a lot to get spooled up to go over. And of course, when you're flying and up at altitude, you're bored. You talk about a lot of stuff. So we had a very common background. He had actually worked at that same program on the Army side, the FAST, the DEA stuff. They had an Army contingent. So he had actually worked there for that too. So we had a lot of common ground. So I was trying to talk to him.
Was that helpful a little bit?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
to be able to talk to him, and like he was out walking like 4 or 5 miles a night, and that's how he calmed himself down. You just see him at night walking the whole camp. So that was how he dealt with it. Going to the gym, we'd go to the gym.
So this is way more common than people think, right? I mean, you just don't have a clue how many people.
You think about all the military people that have done what they've done over the last 20 years, and even before that, and aviation specific, Air Force guys dropping bombs, Navy guys, Marines, Army. And I want to say the statistic is a little over 50% of those people are airline pilots right now.
Wow.
And you're going to tell me we don't have any PTSD in the airlines?
Yeah.
Come on. The math doesn't math.
But the culture says don't talk about it. Because, well, I think you're just, I know it's obvious, but when you start talking to me about this, I'm like, that the pressure to stay flying is my career, because you can't take what kind of medicines are you?
So on the Army side, they authorized, when I was going through this, they were authorizing SSRIs, but you had to do, I forget, it's like a 3-month buildup. You were grounded for 3 months to see how the medication
just to take like a Wellbutrin or a Prozac or something like that.
To take that's a grounding of.
Okay.
That's a different one. That's like it's like 72 hours grounding for 5 milligram. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But the Army allows it. But then I got to get waivers. I would have been grounded for 6 to 12 months just trying to get this whole process done. And then on the civilian side, when I was going through this, the FAA didn't allow any SSRIs. I think now they've put certain ones through. I can't remember which ones they are. I'd have to relook. But now they're starting to go that way. So
selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor.
Yeah.
Which is not like people think you're taking a drug for mental health. It's like, oh, you're taking some kind of tranquilizer or something like that. But it's just basically toying with your serotonin a little bit.
Yeah.
But yet still, it's like you're grounded for 3 months to adjust to that thing.
So what you would rather do and the FAA's fixing it slowly, but they would rather have is these guys with PTSD just not being treated and hiding it and flying.
Right.
Instead of giving them some kind of medicine to help them. I mean, come on.
Dangerous.
It doesn't even make sense.
Talk about dangerous.
Yeah. But I can take other drugs that are authorized, right? Statins and high blood pressure.
Alcohol.
And alcohol.
Lots of alcohol.
Lots of alcohol. Yeah. Alcohol, it's a big thing. So, and that's what they're drinking, right? Those pilots are probably trying to
they're
cope their
self-medicating.
PTSD. That's why they're drinking.
Absolutely.
If you let them just take some medicine, maybe they would. stop with all these alcohol.
Yeah, what's more dangerous? SSRI or a fifth? Yeah.
Yeah. So
scary stuff.
I think they're going away from, I think they're finally getting up there now. Like I said, I know I've seen some articles about them improving things, but I can't tell you what it is, which is a good thing. That's where it needs to go, right? Like,
so you're dealing with all that culture. People are like, oh, geez, man, like, if you have to, but man, you're really putting us in a spot. And just the culture, military culture. I just had a John Williamson on here, and just that military culture, you suck it up, that's what it is. Rub dirt on it.
It is, yes. I was talking to my boss over there, and he was, like I said, he was kind of half in, half out. And it took 2 weeks to get me out because they were going back and forth with command and all this. And like, it's one airplane, 2 pilots have to fly the airplane. We had 4. You can fly with three pilots. Like,
so what was the next thing that happened to get you out?
It took me 2 weeks to go. So I had to go talk to the 06, the colonel that was in charge of us. Because what we were doing is that's a peacekeeping operation. So it's run by, who was running it? A Canadian guy, maybe an Aussie guy, like a 2-star general from them. Okay. And then we worked under them. But we had a 06 colonel in charge of the American side. So I had to go talk to him. And luckily he's an SF guy, and he just came over. So he's a special forces guy. So he was very understanding of my situation.
Because he was special forces. He'd seen
all this. Yeah. So he had seen he knew exactly what I was talking about.
He was supportive.
He was very supportive. So he helped me get out of there. And because of where we were, there's no military airplanes. Like going to Iraq, Afghanistan, you would fly on a military rotator into like Kuwait, and then you'd catch a military flight to one of the countries. Again, I'm going just straight. So I'm having to buy a ticket, trying to figure out how to buy a ticket. Sharm el-Sheikh to Israel, Tel Aviv, I think. Tel Aviv to Frankfurt.
And you're in high anxiety during this whole
Get on a plane, which I already told you, I already have.
Right.
So I'm like.
You're ramped up. So you get home.
Yeah, I go to Landstuhl. So I get medevaced out. And I go to Landstuhl, which is the hospital for military in Europe, right? That's usually if you're getting some kind of medical out of the theater, you're going to go to Landstuhl.
For kind of clearance?
To kind of leave out of the country. Yep. So I spent a week there just seeing therapists and all that and just getting my ride set up. And then,
How was that experience?
I mean, Landstuhl is a beautiful, it's nice and mountainous. It's a beautiful
place. Therapists and stuff?
Yeah, they were good because I was seeing a therapist at Sharm el-Sheikh too. So as I started to go through this, they had a therapist on site. Okay. So I was like, I'm going to go start seeing him. So he was able to get me some IOP recommendations, and he put a lot of this in my records to kind of help.
Some intensive outpatients.
Yeah. So that was in there. And then we were kind of building my treatment plan as I got back, and then launched
on the way home. You're building a treatment plan.
Yeah. So coming up with what I need to do.
Ground. Yeah.
Yep. So then I went into Walter Reed. I stayed for a night, and then I was taken out down to Bragg, and then I spent time at Bragg in their whatever they call it now, Warrior Transition Unit, or it's called something else. But
how were you treated during that time?
It was good. Yeah. So I mean, it's just everybody that has had any kind of medical problem around the world, any of the theaters or anything. That's where they go and they collect, and then you just go whatever your individual treatment is, you go and do.
And you're talking to Erin this whole time.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I was talking to her the whole time I was there. So that was like in Egypt where, the guy before me had left me a 4K projector to watch movies on.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where I was watching Recovery Alive and church stuff.
Yeah. So you started watching Recovery Alive,
to bring my...
You're in Egypt doing it.
Yeah, I'm doing Egypt. Yeah, so I'm in Egypt watching those, calling Erin, talking to her because, just to kind of ease my mind.
And you're seeing people get up there and share their testimonies on recoverylive.com.
Yep.
Just recoverylive.com. We're just throwing it out. On YouTube or Facebook or whatever.
Yep.
And is that...
that was helpful.
A very leading question, but it was helpful.
Oh, yeah. It was very helpful. Like I said, because anything to help bring your mind in, like instead of just sitting in isolation, wondering about everything and how things are going to turn out, it was able to kind of settle my mind, and I was able to just watch those services and the Temple City services, and then once they got me out of there, and I kept watching them as I went, and then when I was at Bragg doing my treatment, I was going back and forth to Bragg. That's when I kind of reached out and started. I came on a Friday night
to Recovery Live. Yeah. So how's Erin, how is she responding to all? Does this come as a surprise to her? Is this...
so I'd gone through this in Afghanistan already. Sure. And so that was when I was talking to her, so that week straight where I had that problem there, I was talking to her on the phone.
But this is next level. Like you're coming home, you're going to go into... Yeah. You ended up going into IOP.
Yep. So my treatment plan was go to IOP up in Raleigh because Bragg didn't have anything available, which was great for me because I live up near here, so I could go there. So for 6 months, that was my treatment, was going to, where did I go? Holly Hills?
What was the other one up? Was it Holly Hill up there?
I think it was Holly Hills.
Yeah. And then you did, then you started seeing a therapist.
I did, yep. So my treatment plan after that, they made me, like the Army's, all right, you did IOP, now your treatment is you have to keep seeing a therapist. So pick a therapist nearby, and then that counts as your treatment to get me cleared to fly.
And you're starting to come Friday nights to Recovery Live, and
Yep.
you're starting to share in some groups.
Yep.
So how was that? Was that, you had already started doing that with IOP?
Yep. So I was doing those like concurrently. So like I said, I had seen this, I'd seen all the stuff out in Egypt, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go when I get back. I promised myself that I would go. So while I was going to, I spent probably a month and a half at Bragg trying to get them to give me IOP.
Yeah.
So I was doing just nonsense. I'd show up formation and.
But you want to get better.
Yeah. So I was doing that Recovery Live to help me get better. And then, like I said, church more, and that this shifted on the whole church side too, right? Like it was just a part-time Christian until it's like you get that shift.
And it took a lot
heart
of pain
change
to get to that place. Yeah. Yeah. And our step process is that first step, admitting I'm getting to this place of pain.
Yeah.
That I will now admit that I am truly powerless. I don't have control, and that my life's unmanageable. That was very evident.
Yeah, that was Egypt for sure.
Yeah.
That was right. When I went and talked to that therapist, at that point, I told myself, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get better.
Yeah. So,
and I'm a guy, I'm a analytical guy where if there's a solution to the problem, I'm going to go find it. So I did all my researching, and I went in and, this is what I want to do. It's just trying to get my mind and my heart changed. That's the hard part. But once I change it,
there's not
I was chasing everything.
It's not fixing it. It's just being open to be fixed.
Yeah.
Right. So I just trust the process. We talk about that all the time. So what did the process look like? I mean, how soon did you start to feel like this thing lifting? It took some time. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I got back into the States, I was able to see, I was able to go home, because of my rank. They let me go and live at home.
Yeah.
And just show up when I needed to down there. So I was with Aaron and the kids, and it helps. It alleviates it very quickly.
Just to be home.
Yeah. Just to be home and not in that kind of environment. And again, I wasn't in like a threat environment.
Yeah.
It was just kind of being gone at that point, and away from things.
And getting that treatment and talking to people and starting to work that process.
IOP was really good. I mean, for the first maybe week or two, I was kind of, let me sit back and see what's going on here. But there was another Army guy that was in my class, and then it was all civilians. Just being able to, he was talking about his stuff, and then a couple other people were like, I called one of my anxiety twin. This dude would talk about his anxiety, and I was like, that's ditto.
Yeah.
Ditto. Oh yeah, I do that. Yep, I do that. And that's where I started to like, man, that's anxiety.
Yeah.
When I'm in all these situations.
And it's healing to hear someone else speak about this thing. Like it just feels like, oh, you too? Huh?
Yeah. Oh, it's not just me.
Yeah.
So that was the part that kind of opened me up. And then we had good therapists there. No, I like the therapists that we had. They were, you go into that thing thinking that people are going to judge you and everything. Sure. I'm sure some of the people did, but being able to talk, majority of it, everybody, straight civilians, all different problems, which was very eye-opening. Still no judging.
I'll say I believe we live in the greatest country in the world and greatest military in the world. And so no shade at all. But I think that the military's come a long ways.
Yeah.
What grade? I know this is maybe an unfair question. But what grade would you give the Army overall and how they handled your struggle with anxiety?
I'd probably give them I'd say maybe a B plus, maybe an A minus.
Okay, good.
Because the part in Egypt was the hard part.
Sure.
And that was the unknown of getting me out of this. That's why I'd maybe go to like a B plus. But everything else, like launch stool, they're used to this stuff. The guys there, the psychiatrists there that I saw were great. And then trying to get back up and flying, I had to go to the Bragg has its own mental health facility down there.
Yeah.
So I'd have to go down there and talk to the doc and see an aerophysicist flight doc or something like that.
Yeah.
I had to take these tests, and I think I took an IQ test or something. I took days worth.
An IQ test?
I don't know. I took a bunch of answers to questions. No. So it was a lot to get signed back off to go and fly.
So you're flying again, obviously.
Yeah. Yep. So I got signed back off. I think I was grounded probably 8 months.
Yeah. And you grounded yourself basically.
Yeah, I grounded myself. But after that, with the paperwork and the diagnosis and all that, I had to get grounded. And then per the Army rules, I went through that process with that flight doc. That's how I had to get back up. So I went through all that. I don't take any medicine. So that was kind of my goal through the whole thing, was not to get on medication, just because of that time the FAA was saying no. And I was, trying to fly, get a job.
No, you don't have an issue with medicine. It just would cause you career issues. Clearly. Yeah.
Yep.
So somebody's watching, struggling with anxiety. It could be, a civilian, somebody in the military, whatever. Like what worked for you? Give me like 3 or 4 things that you say, make sure to do these. These are the things that worked for me. What would you say?
I would start with what we can control, right? Your diet.
Yeah.
And your physical health.
Yeah.
Because your physical and your mental health.
I love that. And that's a big part of what we're about here living on Incline, is like pushing. You and I work out together now, and pushing yourself to a place where you find out what potential your body has. So that's
right.
One area of potential that we rarely explore, where, there's psychiatrist stuff I'm reading now, like a lot of people are getting off their medicine.
Yeah.
And again, nothing wrong with taking medicine, but like you can just with your natural endorphins,
your natural stuff,
which are indigenous morphine coursing through your body,
you
can feel a lot better.
Because there's, like you said, the serotonin thing, and it messes with that. I mean, nutrition alone can help adjust some of those things, right? And hormones, depending on what you eat. Working out can help your hormones adjust, right?
So just get to yourself, like your buddy who's walking around the base doing 4 or 5 miles. There's some part of that he was going like, this is helpful.
Yeah.
Something's happening.
That's exactly why he was
being active, eating better. What else?
Yeah. So start there, and then if you have to go to the medicine, by all means. I wasn't 100% against it.
Sure.
My goal was to not use it because of my job.
Right.
So if you got to go down that route, I would start at the more, again, natural, what you can control piece. Then if you need the meds because you're just having some problems, that's where I would knock it out. But before that, you got IOP, you got therapy, group therapies. I mean, recovery programs. Yep. Trust professionals.
And plus it kept you from isolating, because that was a big issue, right?
It was, especially like when I was in Egypt and Afghanistan, because I had my own room, because of our job that we did, we were allowed to, as aviators, they tried to give us crew rest. So I could just sit in there. And again, I had my own bathroom. I didn't even have to leave. Like, a lot of places you have a common bathroom, and you leave, go, and people start talking, and then you're just out there in the hallway.
In that room, just isolated.
I got internet.
You never had to leave.
I had Hallmark. I had whatever I wanted to watch.
Hallmark.
You just watch whatever.
Thanks for joining. Hallmark. So how about the spiritual piece?
So the spiritual piece, it's, again, that was like the heart change, right? And then the repentance and the surrender, the changeover of going the other way, right? Stopping what I was doing. Because apparently what I was doing wasn't working. So you got to change.
We're prideful people, man. We're stubborn.
Ego and pride, man. It's a killer.
Yeah.
So that piece alone, and then, like I said, the IOP was really just eye-opening on it's okay to share and being around people and sharing. So I think that kind of put my guard down the most.
Well, I think the thing about IOP, if you don't know, it's like 3 hours a session. I think your commitment to your mental health, that's a commitment. Like it's one thing to go to therapy, but man, going to IOP 3 hours, 3 times a week, right? Something like that.
I was 5 days a week.
Were you
for 6 hours a day?
Were you?
Yeah. That's Monday through Friday.
That's HIOP, high intensity.
We ate lunch there. but then after a certain point where I was seeing the therapist and the group therapist said I was good, I went to 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Just half the day.
That's commitment. And I think that's it, is just going like, I'm committed to this. I'm committed to change. And that's you, man. When you get into something, you're all in.
That's what I was saying. I'm gonna go try to win it and figure out how to win it. So
how you doing right now? How's your marriage? How man, kids? Talk
it's
us
10
through
times better than where it was. And we didn't even know that we were having problems. From the, like when I came back, especially like from Egypt, Aaron and I we would have some issues every once in a while, right? But you don't really know. You just kind of think it's like human issues.
Right.
It was more spiritual, really.
Yeah.
Spiritual problems. And we both changed, right? So I say that I had my repentance and the surrender, and Aaron kind of came along with it as well. So, we both kind of made big strides there. And then, we're not, again, I did the group therapy, so I'm a big fan of group therapy. I know that talking about stuff works. Yeah. So we do the marriage recovery. We're on, what did we do the other night? chapter 9. So we're on 10 now.
Commitment 10, yeah.
Yep. So, so we're doing that. We like it. Recommend that for anybody.
Recovering Marriage.
Recovering Marriage.
It's a good one, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Whoever wrote that book, pretty smart.
He's just a flipping brilliant dude.
Yeah.
You're working your program. You've prioritized your mental health. You're giving back now. You're sharing your testimony. You're here on Living on Incline. You've been really involved with helping veterans groups. Reboot has been a big part of you and I working with those folks down there. Evan's a good dude. How important is it to give back in this process?
I mean, ultimately that's where it is for me. Like the greatest joy is giving, right? So, and I grew up in a giving home. My mom was very generous in giving, and I didn't realize it as a kid. You really, I guess, don't pay attention to it. But when I look back at the things that she would do for people, that's kind of where I got it. So giving, man, that's the
service.
That's it. Service. Yeah.
And you've been serving a long time, man. Thank you for your service. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
We'll come back in and talk about that marriage stuff maybe next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing to watch your journey and to see how courageous you've been to just embrace anything that you thought would be helpful to you. And I think that's the humility of Living on Incline, to go like, if I'm going to be the best version of myself, I have to surrender. You talk about the repentance, that's humility too. Just going like, I admit I don't have all the answers, and I admit I've made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
I think the Greek word is to turn, metanoia, to change a mind, like to just absolutely do a 180.
Do a 180.
And that's what you've done. But it's a big boat to turn.
It is.
You've been going this way 100 miles an hour, self-reliance, independence. Nobody can tell me nothing. This is how it works.
And that's the culture's way, right?
That's
so
the culture. I'm going to control everything, to going like, I'm going to let go of control. I'm going to let go of power. I'm going to live in humility. I'm going to serve. I'm going to give.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hoard. It's pretty impressive what you've done. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Thanks,
John Harless. God bless you, brother. And hey, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you let other people know. Share this stuff. And man, we'll see you next time on Living on Incline.
Hey, thanks again for joining us on Living on Incline, sponsored by Recovery Life. Would you do us a favor and just hit that subscribe button, share with your friends? And again, we want to explore our full God-given potential and see what we are capable of. So again, hit that subscribe button, and thank you so much for joining us on Living on Incline.